Let us welcome Peter and let us hear about his hunger strike.
Thank you, Austin. I'm glad to be here and speaking with you once again. I spoke with you just a couple of days ago when I first launched this. Now I'm coming to the close of day 3, and I'm glad to come to the close close it out by speaking with you.
Hey, thank you, Peter. Thank you so much for giving time. I know it's very late here in the East Coast, but you have been fasting. Peter, we cannot underestimate the power you have, because the hatred we receive, the messages we receive, it shows you are being watched, you are being monitored. When we get, this kind of hatred, right? So you have been monitored. People are worried about it. They claim that you are a Pakistani agent, you are anti-Indian, a lot of things. Yeah. So tell us, let us, for the viewers who see this program today, right? So give us, little introduction. What made you to do this hunger strike?
I appreciate that and thank God for whatever little power or influence I might have. But the reason I'm on this hunger strike is because I'm trying to reach the heart, the conscience of somebody who has much more political power than I do, which for me, I have no political power. And that is Khanna. I went on this hunger strike beginning the morning of 25 January in order to demand that U.S. Congressman Khanna, who's from the California Bay Area, use his political power and the access that he has, the platform that he has to reaching the ears of the world and the ears of other people in the American government, to go on the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives and speak against the ongoing, and ongoing is something I cannot emphasize enough, the ongoing anti-Christian violence in Manipur. So it's a very small ask that I have of Ro, who's I know personally, but it's a very small ask. I'm not asking him for introducing a bill in U.S. Congress or a resolution. I'm not asking him to alter the direction of U.S. foreign policy towards India. All I'm asking him to do is to raise his voice, even ever so briefly, in the U.S. House floor of Representatives on behalf of the suffering Christians in Manipur, to call for peace and to make history by doing so. And
thank you, Peter.
I would add to that, one of the reasons among several that I've selected Khanna to make this ask of, to make this demand of, is that Ro's grandfather actually was a freedom fighter named Amarnath Vidyalanka. And his grandfather was a man who Ro has passionately invoked many times as being somebody that has influenced Ro's passion for human rights and Ro's own personal belief in a vision of India, the same vision of India as his grandfather, of a democratic, secular, pluralistic, and free nation. And Ro's grandfather, Amarnath Vidyalankarji, he actually, as he was a freedom fighter in the struggle for India's independence, he himself was actually sent to prison, as I understand, on at least 2 occasions, including once, from what I understand, even being sentenced to 2 years in prison just for an article that he wrote. And my message to Ro is, as I'm seeking to wage a satyagraha and to stand in solidarity with Ro's grandfather's vision for India, that Ro would look to what his grandfather did and how his grandfather was imprisoned, and consider that in the India that is that we see today, that the same treatment is being meted out. There's a need for similar people to walk that path in India, just like Ro's grandfather did. And there is also a special need for it, because just like Ro's grandfather was jailed so many decades ago, simply for voicing an opinion and writing an article, this exact same thing today is happening in India. People are not free to voice their opinions. Academics can be arrested, journalists can be arrested, activists can be arrested, social workers can be arrested, And then, of course, not just arrested, but we've seen now in Manipur, people can be massacred in the streets with total impunity, with the government allowing it to continue now for almost 3 months. Well, Ro's in a very special position because his grandfather, Amarnath Vidyalankar, set an example that has inspired Ro, that touched his heart even to this day. The legacy of his grandfather guides Ro's mind, his passions, and I think also guides his conscience as well. Ro is in a position, unlike his grandfather, way back when, during that struggle for freedom, where Ro can speak without fear of being jailed. I can speak without fear of being jailed. And so because Ro's voice goes so much farther than mine, and because of the example set by his grandfather, I'm appealing to Ro to take these few seconds to speak up in the House floor in a way that the people in India cannot do, in a way that when his grandfather was doing, his grandfather was putting himself at risk to do so. And Ro Khanna will not be putting himself at risk. He's not at risk of jail if he speaks. I'm asking Ro to speak and to do so in inspiration by his grandfather's example.
Thank you so much, Peter. So thank you for telling us what is the inspiration. And I personally, see you as you live the message. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So you are there to voice wherever there is injustice, right? So we
Yes.
see. And yesterday, you have a specific objective, very achievable objective. You just want a congressman to take on the floor and talk about Manipur, right? It's not something, not doable. So you have a very, very objective, right?
It's a very small ask.
Very good, very good. Yeah. So, could you tell us, from the day one, after we talked, so what are the things happened? I know he came to your Twitter and he responded saying that take care of your health, seek medical professional help. And after that, what happened? Could you, tell our viewers? So after that, you are on the third day. So the second day and today. So what happened?
Yeah, I believe we talked about that. As soon as I announced that I was going on hunger strike, I immediately texted Ro to let him know that I was doing this, and he responded. And Ro has an upcoming trip to India in August, in early August, I believe. Excuse me. And he told me, he wrote back very swiftly, and he told me basically that in his upcoming trip that he intends to raise the Manipur issue, as I understand it, with government officials in India, and as I interpret it, behind closed doors, meaning that there would be no public statement by Ro on this, that he is interested in engaging on the issue, but he's not interested in doing it in a way that draws public attention. And that kind of a approach, I believe, is not the need of the hour. I think that's been tried and failed by so many of our government officials in America who have been engaging on these issues with Indian officials privately, and that the need of the hour is for people to begin standing up boldly and publicly, stating in principle that what's happening right now is unacceptable. So that was my response to him. I don't agree with him doing this privately. He has to take the House floor. He posted on my Twitter account publicly, and he basically said, I hope you stay safe and healthy and take care of yourself, and that you are under the monitoring of medical professionals. And the thing is, I don't know how Ro meant that. I'll take it with benefit of the doubt as meaning it for the best. But the thing is, that kind of a response on the first day of me doing this struck me as really insulting, and not insulting to me, but insulting to the people of Manipur, because the people of Manipur are being, because I'm here, I'm safe in America, and the only thing that I'm doing is I'm simply not eating. That's all that I'm doing. But I'm safe. Nobody's attacking me. The police aren't coming after me. There aren't not armed militants coming after me. My house is not at risk of being burned down. I can stand up and declare my religion freely. I can voice my opinion freely without being attacked or arrested or anything else. In Manipur right now, in contrast, so many people they're being murdered. They're being slaughtered in the streets. They're being massacred. They're being beaten up. They're being shot to death. They're being beheaded. They're being burned alive. There's accounts of babies, of infants, of young children under the age of 10, under the age of 8, being murdered with complicity of this BJP government in that's ruling over Manipur, with complicity of the central government in Delhi, with no hope right now because of that complicity that this massacre, ongoing massacre, will come to any swift end anytime soon. And so for Ro to express this to me, to tell me as I'm saying that I am asking him to please speak against the anti-Christian violence, anti-Christian massacre in Manipur, for him to come back and his only words are to tell me to take care of my health, I feel it's a deep insult to the people of Manipur. And I hope that Ro didn't mean it that way. And that's why I would double down and say, Ro, please speak out. Show the people of Manipur that you truly care about them, about what's happening, that you truly do have this devotion and this passion for human rights buried deep in your heart. You've been so swift, and I applaud you and commend you for that. And so many people love you for it. You've been so swift to speak vociferously and courageously, boldly, unapologetically on many other human rights issues of great concern around the world. Well, Ro, especially being in the position that you're in as co-chair of this India caucus in the U.S. House of Representatives and other positions you hold, but especially that one, you have a duty. You have a duty to your grandfather's legacy. You have a duty to the homeland of your parents, to speak out against what is happening. So thereafter, Austin, since then, the first day that I began this hunger strike, there has been no further word from Ro Khanna. However, people have taken this up. I've been on Twitter Spaces. I've been on live spaces here on Zoom with supporters. We have here 2 people who have kindly and boldly stood up in solidarity to wage their own satyagraha and to take on their own fasts, their own hunger strikes from the very first day that I began. Kirti and Sean, and we have people on social media, especially on Twitter, who are just so enthusiastically pushing this issue. I've been privileged, humbled to hear from many Manipuris over the past few days who've told me their stories. I've listened to some of their stories. I want to hear many more. And they've told me accounts of the loss of property, the loss of life of relatives, the trauma that they're suffering from. And I want to hear their stories, but especially because I lack political power in America. I want people who hold it, who have a connection to India, who have a deep love for India, who have a deep passion and love, desire for human rights, like Ro Khanna. I want him to be hearing the stories of these Manipuri people. And so going forward, we'll continue. We'll see, hope and pray for attention to grow to this issue, for strength to continue waging this struggle, for Ro's conscience to be pricked, for his ears to be opened, and for him to be willing to hear what people are saying. As so many people are saying, people are blowing up the phones at his office from everything I'm hearing. And that is my ask for anybody that stands in solidarity, is I have asked people to do 3 things. There are 2 phone numbers for Ro Khanna's office. One is for calling for voicemail. One is for calling or one is for sending a text. And then there's an email for Ro Khanna's office as well. And I've given these out on social media. I've shared them, of course, with you, Austin. I'm asking for people to don't do one, do all 3. You call his office and leave a voicemail. You text the phone for the other number and you send the same message. And what is that message? Is this simple ask, very simple ask. Ro, I am asking you to please go on the floor of the House and speak against the ongoing anti-Christian massacre in Manipur. And then the third thing is email Ro. And I'm also asking people, if you did that, please do it again. Be respectful. Obviously, maybe do it once a day. But if you did it yesterday, do it again today. If you did it today, do it again tomorrow. Don't let Ro forget the people all around the country of the US and people outside the country, many people in India want him, are begging him, are pleading him to not only do the right thing, but to listen to their suffering and to let his heart break for it, and then act upon that by speaking out on the House floor.
Very, very well said, Peter. And we are also like, we know there are hundreds and thousands of Indian American here who are supporting you. They're also very sad and ashamed of the silence by Rohan, a Congress representative, an American, requesting, that you need to, then you just respond in Twitter saying that, oh, take care of your health, right? And you very well said, now you are not worried about your health. You are worried about the people who are suppressed and oppressed, are victims of violence in Manipur. Very, very well said. And I have seen comments, people saying that Peter Frederick is American Gandhi, right? And people saying that, oh my God, we are blessed to have Peter. So now we have two more people, like two of your supporters, they have joined this fast, right? So do you have like any plan? Now I'm going to talk to them after having chat with you. So do you have any plan? Like tomorrow that you have given an action plan for your supporters to do, right? To call Rohanna and social media. Do you have any plan? How long you are going to continue this fast? In case, he doesn't respond.
I intend to continue this fast indefinitely at the moment. I have no plans to break it, and my call is for Ro to act. I believe that this is what's happening in Manipur right now is the absolute worst anti-Christian violence that has occurred in the modern Republic of India ever. It has surpassed what was once the worst, which was the Khanna pogrom in the state of Odisha in 2008. And this is part of a larger pattern. Manipur is of great concern, and the Manipuri people and the Kuki-Zo tribal people in particular deserve our attention and our compassion intensively right now, and our love and our care as they're going through all this pain, trauma, and suffering. But this is part of a larger pattern that we've seen developing throughout the entire country of India over the past 9 years, but with increasing speed, blitzkrieg speed over especially the past 2 or 3 years, as we're seeing these what began with routine pattern of lynchings, especially of Muslims, now developing into these open calls for genocide by prominent Hindu nationalists, even BJP and RSS leaders all around the country. We're seeing these routine, constant attacks on churches, church services all around the country, where mobs of hundreds of armed men, accompanied by the police, they burst in and they attack the worshipers, and they hand them over to the police, and the police slap charges on the victims instead of the perpetrators. We're seeing so many things developing, such a huge pattern of violence growing around the country of India, particularly targeted against Christians and Muslims, but also against Dalits and Sikhs and many others. And then, of course, this massive authoritarian crackdown, which has brought India to the brink, where India now today is on the verge of being an outright fascist nation, fascist state, as the ability to voice out, to be a journalist, to be anybody that dissents, to be anybody that criticizes the government, to be anybody that exercises free expression, free speech, free assembly, any freedom of religion, any of these freedom of press, any of these freedoms, where the ability to exercise those freedoms is being almost completely stripped away. That's where we stand right now.
Thank you, Peter. Peter, there are a lot of dialogue and conversation, a demonstration happening across the US, not only in the US alone, even other countries, international community, people started talking. And among them, your inspiration, right? Your action has inspired many people. They talk about you. And even, like the hatred we receive, it shows that, so you have shaken, right? The people who talk ill about you. And there are a lot of other people, in many groups I am part of, they talk about Peter. They call you hero. They are very happy and excited when you say that you'll be going for that prayer vigil in UN, right? So they say, hey, Peter is going to come here. So you are going to become, you are kind of a model and inspiration to Indian American community, right? Practicing satyagraha in this country. Thank you for that. Thank you for standing up this cause. And I'd like to hear from Sean and Kritika. Before that, do you want to say anything to our viewers?
No, thank you so much, Austin. And I just hope that if people look at what I'm doing and they appreciate it, that it would inspire them to take their own actions. And at the end of the day, I hope that whatever actions people see me taking and doing, that they see in those actions me seeking to manifest glory to God.